Your Imperial Majesty, Baron Joseph Kennedy, I write today as one of your most loyal servants and an American patriot. Contrary to what we believe here in the new and free world, global socialism is not really one monolithic solid block. No, no. In fact, there are many contradictions among the socialist powers of the world. Contradictions that we can use to our advantage to weaken them and to win the struggle that we seem to have lost in the old world. It is so disheartening to think that just 20 years ago, the world was filled, especially the old world, was filled with traditional monarchies and free liberal democracies. Alas, we have lost this battle. But not for long, Your Majesty. So let me show you the contradictions in global socialism. The first and most obvious thing is that the main socialist powers of Europe are divided into two. The first is the Third International, led by the Union of Socialist British Republics, the Commune of France, and the Iberian Federation. And the second is the Soviet Russian Tsardom, ruled by Tsar Vladimir III. The Soviet Russian Tsardom is such a weird empire. It was born from the young Russian movement, and it is a syncretic combination of Tsarism and Bolshevism and the worker monarch alliance. The Tsar presides over a new neo Bolshevist party. It is totalist, orthodox integralism. Now, the puppet states and client states are the Belarusian People's Republic under Branislav Taraskiv. Then we have the Ukrainian Socialist Republic under Alexander Shumsky, the Hungarian Socialist Republic under Imre Nagy and the National Peasant Party, the Slovak Socialist Republic under Antonin Janosek, Galicia Londomerina under Eugeniusz Okon, the Polish People's Republic under Adolf Warski, the Republic of Austria under Friedrich Adler, the People's State of South Germany under Kurt Eisner, and the Swiss Confederation, which aligned themselves with the Russians even though they are not socialists. And of course, who can forget the biggest ally of the People's Tsardom is the great Transcaucasian socialist state, led by Joseph Koba Zhugashvili, whom some people call as Stalin for being the Iron Man of Georgia, but we shall come to him later. Germany, as we can see, is divided up between the German People's Republic in the north, which is pro-France, and South Germany, which is pro-Russia, and then a part of Germany has been entirely annexed by the Commune of France. But even the Third International is not really the unified bloc that we believe it to be. T. E. Lawrence's totalist government of Great Britain is, T. E. Lawrence's Red Totalist Junta of the USBR is completely averse to the anarchism of Sebastian Faure and the General Confederation of Labour anarchist faction. They only pretend to be together. Indeed, the biggest allies of the Commune of France are the Iberian Federation and the German People's Republic. The Iberian Federation is anarcho-syndicalist under the CNT5. The Portuguese Socialist Republic is also an anarchist government, but it is nominally presided over by Manuel Joaquim de Souza. Then we have the Commune of Morocco, which is a Spanish puppet state. The Scottish Workers' Republic is syndicalist since the revolution led by Willie Galasher and the Scottish Trade Union Congress, and Ireland is a puppet state of the USBR led by James Gralton and the Revolutionary Workers' Party. It is communist. There are certain kingdoms and right wing states in Europe which have survived for different types of reasons. Oh, yes, in Germany, we also have the New German Community, which is basically an attempt by the socialist powers to completely break off East Prussia from Germany. It is led by an anarcho communist faction called the Anarchistischen Vereinigung, which is the Anarchist Association. It was placed in power by the Anarchist Commune of France. They want to build an anarchist paradise in the new German community of Königsberg, or Marxgrad as it is now called. But anyway, moving on to the right wing states which have survived. The first and most prominent of them is the Socialist Republic of Italy. It is nominally presided over by Giuseppe Volpi, but it is a federation of equals between Sicily, Tuscany, Modena, Lucca, the Papal States, Venice, and Lombardy. Giuseppe Volpi was the leader of Venice before he was declared as the head of the Serene Republic of Italy, a federation modeled on that of Venice. Even the flag has the Venetian lion at the top, because the Venetians were the most powerful faction remaining in Italy after Mussolini and the Sicilians completely spent themselves fighting each other in the Civil War. Today, even though Venice is one among equals, it is the supremo of Italy. The Italians hate the fact that the French have set up their own rival Italian government, which is unofficially called as the Sardinian Commune but officially called as the Italian Socialist Republic. It is led by Michele Chiru of the Punto Sardinos. He is an illegalist, basically a left anarchist, an ideology popularized in France and the Low Countries that mainly spawns from individualistic and insurrectionary tendencies, and Albert Libertad's idea of anarchism embodying the joy of living over militant sacrifice to some hierarchy or societal standard imposed by the state. They embrace illegality, criminality, and the taboo for each individual as both a way of life and a means of undermining capitalism. This ideology and the island of Sardinia is completely at odds with what the Serene Republic of Italy preaches. A modest, moralistic Italy which harks back to the old days before the unification. Another right wing state which has paradoxically survived is the Kingdom of Bohemia. Indeed, the Kingdom of Bohemia was called as a traitor by the Austrians. After securing their independence against the Austrians by winning the Civil War, the Kingdom of Bohemia signed non aggression pacts with both the Commune of France and the People's Tsardom of Russia. As a result, it was not annexed. Another reason was that it lies on the very border of the Iron Curtain between the Russian sphere of influence and the French sphere of influence. Although there were some ideas of dividing it right smack in the middle, these were not really acted upon, and thus the Kingdom of Bohemia under Maximilian I remains as a strong national socialistic liberal state right in the middle of the socialist world. Then we have Flanders and Deutschland. Both of them are nations which did not involve themselves in the Second Weltkrieg and thus have remained independent. The same goes for the Kingdom of Finland and the Swedish Republic. The Kingdom of Finland is led by Vaino I and the Legionary Party of Finland, which is a fanatical national populist far right party which acts on the mythical Palingenesis rebirth rhetoric. Then we have Norway, which is led by Vidkun Quisling and his National Socialist Right Syndicalist Party. Right syndicalism rejects the Marxist or utopian socialist rhetoric of syndicalism in favor of establishing a corporatist worker state with a purified and populist form of militant syndicalism based on racial hierarchy and ethnicity. Quisling is thus the dictator of Norway. Then finally we come to the Balkans. Yugoslavia was reunified by the Chetniks under Alexander II. Albania is a Yugoslav puppet state led by the House of Zogu, which intends to crown King Zogu as the king of the Albanians in a few years. Then we have the Kingdom of Romania, which is one of the closest allies of both Finland and Norway. This is thanks to their far right version of legionarism. Legionarism is another right wing militant workers' party. King Nikolai I was placed in power by the Legion of Romania because he is extremely loyal to their cause and he is little more than a puppet of the legionaries. The Bulgarian state is a puppet state of Romania led by Enes Derzavin. They are Bulgarianists who want to establish neo feudalism. They want to bring back the medieval form of the Bulgarian state as they believed that that was the era when Bulgaria was the strongest. Their weird ideas of neo feudalism are extremely bad for the peasantry, as party members and ex royals act as some sort of medieval fantasy dress up. Then we have the Kingdom of Greece under Paulos I and the great Transcaucasian socialist state. Josip Koba Jugashvili. The man came to power as a sort of adventurer in Georgia. Who would have thought that with the help of Russian bayonets, he would completely unify the Middle East and establish the great Transcaucasian socialist state? But Jugashvili is not ideologically loyal to the Russians. Indeed, he believes in a form of socialism called Georgian socialism. It is a break with Leninist orthodoxy. Georgian socialism upholds elements shared by many communist parties claiming the legacy of the revolution, such as a focus on class warfare, parties' doctrinal purity, wealth redistribution, rapid industrialization, and rural collectivization. For Koba, socialism is an ideology rabidly anti Russian, even though he has collaborated with the Russians to conquer the Middle East. He has vowed to never again let his homeland be at the whim of the Muscovite chauvinists. Another key point in Georgian socialism is the total control of the state and the ultimate devotion of the people towards it. Joseph Jugashvili has established a brutal cult of personality around himself. Purges are so common that more than half of the people seem to disappear. Almost every single intellectual, teacher, religious preacher has disappeared in the daily purges, and everyone fears and thinks twice before saying anything, lest they be sent to camps in the countryside of Kurdistan. Oh, yes, the Turkish government survives in the Suez Canal, and that is the brainchild of the Russians. The Russians crowned the king of Turkey as a sort of government in exile. This is done to make Jugashvili give independence to the Turkish Socialist Republic. After that, they will probably purge the Sultan. Then we move on to the Kenya People's Republic, which is led by Obama. Yes, Obama. He is head of the Mau Mau revolution, a revolution which is hardline totalist. They wish to reunify entire Africa and Kenya under a pan African nationalist cause. Obama believes that he is the physical manifestation of their patron deity Ghost Goat. Obamaoism is it basically is an autarkic agrarian national syndicalist and extremely anti-colonial ideology. After taking over power, they have slaughtered, massacred, or kicked out every single white man except in some areas of Natal in South Africa. Yes, hundreds and thousands have died in the Kenya People's State in violent purges, random slaughters, and machete fueled acts of total violence. And why is this allowed to happen? Because the Kenya People's State has the complete backing of the Third International and the People's Tsardom of Russia. They are helping the largest genocide in the history of humankind. After that, we move on to Gominjan. What can I say about their weird ideology? I can just say that it is a cultist Christian socialism which is led by Feng Yuxiang. Who would have thought that this minor wallout from Shaanxi would reunify China, defeat the Japanese with Russian help, and establish puppet states over Korea and the People's Republic of Japan under Kansan Arahata? The Gominjan are The Gominjan cannot really be described in European terms. Yes, as I said earlier, they are Christian socialists with a cult of personality around Feng Yuxiang, and they have no love for real socialism that is followed by the Commune, by the British Republic, or the Tsardom of Russia. The alliance is purely one of self help. India has been reunified by Tamil Nadu under Periyar Ramaswamy. He wants to recreate a strong Dravidistan and kick out the Aryans who invaded his land back in 2500 BC. And now he's doing exactly that. He is Dravidifying the entire Indian subcontinent, Burma, and Afghanistan. God knows where fate will take India now. Then we have the socialist state of Siam, which is one of the few ideologically independent countries of the world. Preeti Fan Mayong is the leader. After that, we have the Indo-Chinese Union, which is a Russian puppet state led by Pham Wan Dong and the New Viet Revolutionary Party. Then we have the Socialist Republic of Malaya under Burhanuddin al-Helmi, which is led by the generation of awakened youth. It is a totalist dictatorship, and it is a Russian puppet state. The Dutch East Indies is basically the Dutch monarchy in exile. It is led by the the Raad of the Netherlands, which is a brutal colonial government, but we have to support them if we want to rid the world of socialism. Then we have the Republic of Australia, which is one of our biggest allies under the Australia First Party of Percy Stephenson, which believes in Australian interests beyond the interests of the Entente or even the interests of our alliance. New Zealand is led by George Monckton Arundel. They currently have prohibition on. Then we come to Alaska. But no, before that, let's see Canada, our biggest allies and now stuck in perpetual exile in Canada. Canada is led by the Social Credit Party of Canada, which is an ideology developed by the Anglo philosopher C. H. Douglas, and that advocates that government issuance of debt-free money should be given directly to the population, both consumers and producers, to sidestep the issue of economic downturns and the chronic deficiency of purchasing power that has afflicted many post-Well Creek economies. And then we come to America itself, our great land. After it was reunified by Your Majesty, America is now eerily similar to the Serene Republic of Italy in that it is an alliance of barons and wealthy, well polished families of the old order. These families they deserve to be in power because they have great pedigree. Families like the Astors, the Vanderbilts, the Bushes, and the Rockefellers. Thus, power is now in the hands of New Englander society. Power is in the hands of people who deserve to have it here. Out of character for literally nothing here. I do not believe in this Helmau. This is LARP. Yes, so power is now in the hands of people who deserve to have it. And Baron Kennedy is the head of an alliance of equals. But our nation is still beset by the realities of post Civil War America. The biggest is the Southern Republic led by A. Philip Randolph. While nominally we have let them be, it is unknown where their tendencies lie. There is a large amount of socialists in their nation, and before that happens, we must either invade them or bring them completely under our control. For all it takes is one bad economic downturn for social democracy to turn into socialism. Then we have Alaska, which is led by Austin E. Lathrop's Alaskan Business Interest Groups, which is basically anarcho capitalism. Austin E. Lathrop was Alaska's first homegrown millionaire, and he basically represents American big business. We should do an alliance with him and negotiate with him for peaceful reunification. After that, we have Hawaii, which has broken away under Lawrence Macaulay Jude. And sadly, we had to establish a number of puppet states in South America because we had to defeat the syndicalists. Brazil is led by Emperor Pedro III and the Integralist Party, the Partido Republicano Centralista. Pedro III is an absolute monarch. Then we have the Peru-Bolivian Confederation under Oscar Benavides Larrea, Paraguay, Uruguay, Chile. Oh, the great house of Kennedy, the Duke of New England, noble society. The Fourth Mexican Empire is one of our allies led by King Moctezuma III. He is the direct descendant of the last king of the Aztecs, and now the dynasty has came back. Although by this point he has more Spanish blood than Aztec blood, but still. He has solidified state Catholicism. He remembers the true first empire of the Aztecs and has a professional army. There are a number of minor warlords in Central America. Yucatan has broken free from Mexico under Bernardino Mena Brito. The Colombian commune hurts us like a thorn. In the free new world, where one is free to worship God and the old order, the Colombian commune is a radical socialist state under Jorge Eliacar Gaitan. He is an agrarian socialist who puts the peasant above the worker, the peasant first. But even here we have an opportunity because the Colombian commune's peasant first ideology is directly at odds with the totalism of the British, the anarchism of the French, and even Jugashvili's or Vladimir III's version of socialism. Now let me show you the power blocks that exist in this world. And then you will finally know who are our friends and who are our enemies. The Third International, a grand alliance. Although the Iberian Federation is not directly a part of it, it is affiliated with the anarchist French. Then we have the Union of People's Crowns, which is made up of Russia, Vietnam, Malaya, and parts of Morocco and Ceylon. After that, we have the Entente, our own alliance, an alliance of equal with our Canadian friends, the Mexicans, and most of South America is also part of our alliance. The Liberal Pact is an allied pact to our own Entente. It is made up of liberals and democratic leaders in Central America. Panama and Costa Rica are at war and are not part of any alliance. Another minor alliance is the Belgrade Pact. Initially a weak Balkan alliance, their status arose rapidly when the powerful Italian nation joined them. Now see, the Belgrade Pact, even though not socialist, is directly allied with the Russians. And the Italians joined it because they knew that by joining the Belgrade Pact, they prevent themselves from a Russo Third International invasion to establish a socialist state. Thus, by establishing friendship with the Belgrade Pact, the Italians remain right wing and free in a Europe dominated by socialists. Greece is our only friend in Europe. It has not become part of the Belgrade Pact, choosing itself to ally with the Entente. Another important member of the Belgrade Pact is Venezuela. Venezuela joined for economic reasons because the Venezuelans are greedy bees. They have lots of oil which they wish to sell to the socialist powers. But since we have established a tight embargo, and since the Venezuelans are technically at war with some socialist powers, they have joined the Belgrade Pact so that they can sell this oil to the Balkan nations and Italy, who can then sell it indirectly to the socialists. This is the Venezuelans' way of selling their oil to all sorts of customers. I will not comment on it for now. They gotta do it. Everybody's gotta do their part to recover from the Second Weltkrieg. The biggest source of problem is the Southern Republic. Who knows how loyal they are to us? Maybe we can establish another baronet in the south, maybe under one of the great Dixie families which once ruled over the south. Who knows? But until then, have a great day.